Hello, everybody on YouTube. It's midnight and I'm in bed. This is Heather Ann here. I've got crazy hair and I have no makeup on. I never thought I would do a YouTube video in bed with no makeup on, but so it's April 2nd. Yesterday, California shut down the schools for the rest of the year. And I wrote an article. I'll put a link to the article on my blog down below. So go down below. Heather Ann Art and Soul is my website. It used to be Heather Ann World, and then I changed it because I like the new name better. So it's like midnight, and I'm doing a video, and I want to tell you why. So I actually paused the video for a second because I had to just take a moment because it's a lot going on. The kids are experiencing a lot of loss. When the schools first shut down just a few weeks ago, I've lost track of time. It wasn't finite. It was like, okay, maybe in a month, and then okay, maybe a month and a half, and then now it's like, so when it's funny, you would think that the kids would be like, yeah, no school, but it's kids have fun at school and they have their friends and they get attached to their teachers. I know teachers are mourning too because they love their students and they're going to miss them. They miss those kids. Those kids are your kids are part of their teachers' lives. Your kids, my eyes are itchy because it's midnight and I'm tired. That I really I care about my students so much. Oh my gosh, your teachers cry over your kids when they're hurting, when there's stuff going on in your family, and you tell the teacher, they cry over it. I've cried over students and their families suffering many, many times. So a friend of mine asked me just a little bit ago, and I was like, I'm gonna make a video. He said, Heather, my daughter, I can't teach her. The teachers rave about her. She's gotten behavior, awards from the principal for being the best student. And she's acting out. She won't do any work. I can't even get her to read. And so I gave him an answer. And then I said, I got to make a video. When your child refuses to work for you, of course, there's a whole lot of things going on. And sometimes it can be misbehaving, pushing your buttons. Kids will try stuff with us that they won't do at school because they know that there's peer pressure. And, if they act up, other kids will notice. There's kind of a little more, they want to have decorum in the classroom because they don't want other kids to make fun of them. And then they might throw a tantrum at home that they wouldn't do, especially older kids. Older kids can throw tantrums at home. So, but right now, during the COVID-19 coronavirus shutdown, I think there's a really high chance that it's something else going on. So your kids are experiencing loss, and sometimes loss like that, it can be equivalent to a death. If they were very involved at martial arts or sports, or your older kids are looking forward to prom, or just the list. My gosh, I could sit here for 20 minutes making a list, right? My kids have been practicing their routines. They're on dance teams, they have solos, and my daughter has a duet. They have been practicing for so long, months. They had all these, my face is itchy from my hair. I keep scratching my face. I'm itchy. I'm itchy from my hair was tickling me. I don't edit that stuff out. It's real life. I have no makeup on. I'm like, it's midnight. Oh well. See my other videos if you want to see me looking cuter with makeup. So, where was I before I bird walked all by myself? I'm sitting here alone in my bedroom with my fluffy pillow. I love my fluffy pillows. I have squishy pillows that I washed and it got ruined and it's all messed up, but it's my favorite pillow. Anyway, so I got my fluffy pillows. So let's talk about our kids acting horrible. So what'll happen is that kids will act out of grief because they don't have they don't have the capability to understand their feelings, and then they don't have the capability to process it and put words to it. When we get upset as adults, we can put words to it, most of us. Some people are, emotionally struggling and they need to learn that skill, but most of us can express ourselves. Kids cannot, they struggle with that. So they have all this internal turmoil, they have all this loss. They feel like someone's died because they lost whatever, clubs, activities, art classes, they love their teacher, they care about, they miss their teacher, they miss their friends, they miss that amazing lunch lady. There's always like the really cool yard lady or lunch lady at the school, right? There's always that one, or that great crossing guard that like has all the jokes for the kids, and your kids get attached to those people. And if you're one of those people, thank you, bless you, you're amazing. Because there's always that person. There's always that, that librarian who's super friendly, or that lady that, is on the yard who like really cares about the kids and knows them, and, really gives them hugs and a smile. So there's all these people that are a major part of their lives, and they're gone. And then there's rituals that are a major part of their foundation, that, every day at recess, they trade gummy bears with their little friends. Or my friends and I at recess when I was a kid, we used to sit in the grass and get those little tiny white grass flowers. And if you use your fingernail and make a little slit in the stem, you can put the other stem through and you can make a little bracelet or a necklace. So we would sit and make those at recess. And, you just have these things that they give you predictability and structure, and they make life feel safe. So your kids are feeling loss. They're missing so many people. They're missing, and if they're homeschooled, they are missing their park day friends. They are missing their dance studio, their karate class, their in-person academic classes. My kids go to class, an arts-based class all day, once a week. And then my son has another thing of a couple of high school classes and all those friends. And being online, it's not the same. And it's just profound loss. So your kids are acting out because you are a safe place. It's horrible stuff every day, right? Like every day, there's terrible things that you're reading. I'm starting to know people who are dying of coronavirus. And I'm starting to know people who are hospitalized, and friends of friends and whole family sick. So one of the awful things that I read was that domestic violence calls have gone way up. And I think that there are abusers that are just horrible people, but people can also be horrible because of circumstances. So it's very possible that we have people who are losing it, and they're losing it on their spouses and their kids. So now it is, I'm weighing my words carefully. It's hard if your school, if you're not a homeschooler and your school closed down. It's really hard if they don't give you materials. But it's just as hard or worse if they give you a ton of materials and they're expecting your kids to keep up. And the schools need to back off. Teachers need to relax. Especially if you're a teacher whose kids are grown or you don't have your own children. I implore you to chill out and try to do like as much fun stuff with the kids as you can. I don't care if they're what their level of, student is or what they need to accomplish. Uh we're going to have teenagers being suicidal right now if we're not careful as a society. As a society, you have seniors and juniors, you have high schoolers who are losing a lot and they're depressed, and then they're still getting pressure from school to keep up. Kids are going to be suicidal. And I know that's like just horrible. I have like this whole Disney following and Disney thing and keeping it pixie dusty, but gosh darn it, when Captain Hook is there and you're fighting a battle, like, you're not going to pretend like everything is roses. And I am concerned about children losing it and having really severe trauma, and parents too. The loss, this is unprecedented for anyone of the modern age, right? This kind of loss and uncertainty, and it's made it worse being uncertain, because it was like, oh, we're going to close the schools for a few weeks, and then, oh, we're going to a little longer, a little longer, a little longer. So the kids have had hope, and I think it's worse. I think they should have closed it down, because the kids have had hope and then had to grieve over and over again. So they're like, okay, maybe we'll get back, and then, oh no, a little longer, and then maybe, oh no. Dance competitions and stuff are like, oh, we're going to do it in July. Well, what if you can't do it in July? So the kids are going to have to go through this again. I wish that everyone would just like cancel it all, honestly, because I would rather my kids just know that it's all canceled than have all this hope that this might happen and that might happen and that might happen. And, odds are pretty high it ain't going to happen. Like, a lot of these, sports and things that take facilities like dance and cheerleading and all that. Well, when all this is gone, all the facilities everyone's going to want the facilities at once, right? I have a child that just walked in. I'm making a video. Hello. I'll be with you in a moment. I'm making a YouTube video right now. I'm talking to the camera. Come back later. No, give me 5 minutes. That's so funny. That's what happens. And I'm not going to cut this out. That's my daughter. Okay, so we had a little levity in there in the heavy stuff. I would implore you deeply, parents, to just, if your child is acting horrible and out of character, don't start punishing them and being harsh with them because they're in deep pain. It's like when you see a dog that's injured and you go to help it and the injured dog bites you. You're not going to leave the dog to bleed, right? You're going to put a soft towel around the muzzle and you're going to wrap it in a towel and you're going to gently but firmly take it and you're going to do treatment on that hurt dog. So your child is acting out because they're in so flippin' much pain and they can't express it to you. And you're in pain and you're worried. Some of you have lost your jobs and you don't know how you're going to get money to pay for things. And I've lost a lot. And, I miss my friends too. And I miss my gym and I miss my Disneyland. I miss all these things. So I've written a bunch of articles recently on my Heather Ann Art and Soul. I wrote about homeschooling is not the same as crisis schooling. We are in crisis. I wrote, and that's my viral article. Right now I have 855,000 views is crazy. It's gone viral. And then I have articles about using literature, like even Disney literature, and I'm adding content like every day. So go and read my articles to get more. But I, I'm giving a million ideas of, not a million, I don't want to overwhelm you. I'm giving a lot of ideas for what to do, right now. But snuggle up, make, uh, cookies or hot cocoa, get on the couch with Blinkies, build a fort in the living room, let the kids be on Xbox late at night so they have socialization with their friends, make dinners together. We made hamburgers tonight, and my kids were like, we want to cook. I said, okay, go ahead. They made bacon and cheeseburgers, and they did onions. They went crazy. They were like this. uh, you need to just chill out on the academics right now. Really, I've been an educator 25 years. My master's degree is in curriculum and instruction. I'm a curriculum specialist, and I am the last person to tell you not to educate your child. But the heavy academics right now are going to be tough, and they will learn better and more if you're reading and listening to audiobooks and discussing. I mean, just immerse yourself in literature and books, and I'm telling you, kids are going to learn. The human condition is ripe to learn. We learn from the moment we are born. You cannot stop a human being from learning. Even people with brain injury, their brain will struggle to work again. People in comas come out of it and say, I heard you talking. The human spirit wants to learn. Your children want to learn. If you did not teach them another thing, it's now beginning of April. It's April 2nd. If you did not teach them anything, and you just had them read books and said, go on the laptop and look up things you find interesting, they would learn. They might even learn more than they would learn by you yelling at them. And I'm not judging. Parents lose their temper and yell. I'm part Italian. We can yell. I hate to stereotype my own people, but right? Like, I can have my moments. What are you doing? We have our moments, right? But battling them, and they're acting out and they can't express themselves, you are all gonna be miserable. And then one of my biggest fears and one of my biggest frustrations about all this, like pushing for testing and being so intense at school, and the standards are so much harder than they were, years ago, and kindergartners don't get to play enough and they don't do enough crafts and art, is destroying the love of learning. If we are destroying the love of learning, then we have not educated that child. If that child comes out of whatever educational thing you are doing without loving learning and without wanting to learn and thinking learning is cool and fun, we have failed. I know this video has some harsh words, but it's deeply, passionately how I feel. I am not saying that learning is always wee, right? My kids know that sometimes we're just going to sit and do a math page because you have to do a math page. And I have had times when I'm going to do that battle. No, we're doing all the fun stuff, but right now we do need to do this too. But you also have to pick when you're going to make that battle. And right now, if your child is acting out, throwing things, kicking, screaming, refusing to get out of bed, they are crying out. Their soul is wrenched. the worst thing you can do is pick this huge battle and fight with them and not give them a safe place. Because what'll happen is that if you are soft with them, you let them express themselves, and then you go make a really nice breakfast that they really like, and you get them with you, or let them go to their room and sleep, give them some space, they will come to you and they'll probably break down and cry. But that'll be the moment that they're open. But if you don't provide a safe place for them to get there, it's not going to happen, and you are going to battle your child until the summer, and your whole family will be torn apart. Do not let COVID-19, coronavirus, and all this shutdowns rip your family apart. Don't. It's not worth it. There is no math papers. There is no forced 20 minutes of reading something they don't want to read that is worth that. Killing your child's love of learning and exasperating all of you and being miserable is not worth it. And you can learn in ways that are fun and engaging, but you also might need a break. Your child might need to just not right now. As adults, we feel like that. Sometimes you get up on the weekend and you're like, I just want to go back to bed. I just need to sleep. I just need to chill. I mean, how many of you come home from work, those of you who work outside the home normally, and you get home and you're just done. And after dinner, you just want to put your feet up. You just want to have your beer or wine or whatever. And you want to stare at the TV or go on your phone and like, you just don't want to be bothered. You just want to break. Well, your kids might need that too. And especially if they're feeling lost and they're acting out. I mean, there was a morning when one of my kids was like, I just can't get out of bed today. And, my kids were really sad about dance and scouts and all. My son's going for Eagle Scout and he's assistant patrol leader, and now scouts isn't happening right now. Everything's on hold. So I just really want you. I would not make a video with messy hair that needs to be washed, no makeup in bed. I would never do that if I didn't think it was just so like crucial, I don't want your kids and you to be miserable educating your child at home. I don't want that. And the teachers don't want that either. And I know that a lot of teachers, they want to provide consistency, and they also have a lot of pressure from the school to keep, test scores, that's the first 10 years that I was teaching, we went through 3 major philosophical shifts. 3. And since then, there's been, I don't know, I've lost track. So it'll change again, because there's a lot of ways to educate humans. There's so many ways to teach humans. So I'm hoping that the schools will relax. I'm hoping that the schools will stop pressuring the teachers, because when the teachers are pressuring, it's because they're getting pressure. They're being told, you have to make the kids do this and you have to do that. And the teachers are getting pressure. And then they're like, I have to do all this. And so they're in a tough spot. So I'm really hoping that they relax. I'm hoping the schools will calm down and just like, nothing we can do. Couldn't plan for a pandemic. But if you have any control, and really, it's getting harder for them to justify grading. So there's a big push to go for not grading. So you need to be the gatekeeper for your child. And if your child is acting out, depressed, angry, you can just say, nope, my child is not coming on to the Zoom today, and be the gatekeeper. And I know, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to publish this video because I do not want anyone giving me a hard time saying, oh, you're telling them not to do school. No, I'm not. I am saying that the world will not end if your child is given some time to grieve, because to them it feels like a death. They don't understand, and they don't know how to express it, and they're losing a lot. All right, so this has been a long video, and I'm gonna go to bed now. Start at midnight, so now it's like 12:30. So I'm gonna get my pillows and my blankies, and I'm gonna say goodnight to my children since my one popped in here, and I'm gonna say goodnight to you, and just stay together. Don't let your family fall apart right now. And if you're falling apart, you'd be surprised at how much your kids, if they see you fall apart and you're vulnerable with them, you'll be shocked at how much they'll comfort you and be there for you and step up. If you're not yelling at them and you're not, come on, and you let them see your vulnerable side, they will step up. I've had it in my own life with my own children plenty of times, and you'll be surprised. They'll surprise you. Just read books, literature. Be well read. That's what they used to do in Leonardo da Vinci's time, right? Read and read and read and read and read. All right, I'm going to say goodnight. I wish this was more like Princess Goodnight Story Time like they do at the Disneyland Hotel. But instead, this is, let's stop our kids from losing their minds from coronavirus. All right, bye everybody.